Today's lesson is a unit review for our Unit 8 test. Now, you're not going to see all 12 of the questions in today's review, but I did pick the ones that I thought would be the most challenging. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 1. Number 1 is the one where they're going to ask you to change from the logarithmic form to the exponential, and then from the exponential to the logarithmic. Take a look at how yours are. It doesn't have to be in the same order as mine. My second one is asking me to rewrite it as an exponential equation. It's in the logarithmic form, which is this form right here, and it's asking me to change it into this form here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my color. Let me change this to my orange, and I'm going to use that to help me. So this 3 would be blue, and the fraction would be orange, and the -4 would be purple. Now I can quickly see to change it to the other form that it would be the blue number raised to the purple number equals the fraction. Oops, 81, there we go. And then that's what I would fill into the blanks down below. I'm going to try my best, guys. I know it doesn't look the best, but there we go. All right, same thing for the next one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color in what I have, but I'm using this as my template because this one is asking me to change it to the logarithmic. Change it to the logarithmic. Okay, so I have those. I just need my orange for this guy right here. Now if I change into the log, let me grab the base is going to be the blue number. I need that orange back. Let me get that orange back because the orange comes next, and then it's going to equal the purple one. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in down here. There we go. All right, question number 3 is the next one I wanted to talk about because this is the one where they ask you to use the change of base formula. Here's our change of base formula right here. So you're going to take the log that they gave you and you're going to color, I'm going to color it just like this. I'm going to. But if you take a look, what the change of base formula basically does is it takes the larger of the two numbers, which is my purple X, and it divides it by the smaller of the two numbers, which is my orange A. The blue base that I'm going to be using for this one is actually going to be 10. Remember, you want to use 10 as your base when you do the change of base formula because you want to be able to put the log of the purple, which is your larger of your two numbers, divided by the log of the orange number, which is the smaller of your two numbers, and you want to be able to go ahead and put this right into the calculator. That's exactly what you want to do. It is asking you to round to the nearest hundredth, to the nearest thousandth. Let me grab my pink here. 1,000 would be 1,000, just like that. Let me use my orange. So there's my decimal, and I would count 1, 2, 3 numbers, and then the number after that, the fourth one, would be the one that decides, should I let it rest or should I add one more? All right, let's go ahead and put this into the calculator. No. There we go. Let's grab it and put it into the calculator. I like to make the fraction, but remember, it is totally up to you guys. Log of 8 divided by log of 3. There we go. There is my decimal. Let's go ahead and go back and put that down. That should be enough. I know there's more. Okay, so I find my decimal. There's my decimal. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, because that's thousandths. This number is going to tell me should I round or not. I don't need these numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and cross them out. The number under the arrow is 5 or more, so my rounding rule says that I'm going to add one more to the underlined number. So I'm going to say 1.893 is going to be my final answer. There we go. All right, question number 4 is going to ask you to solve for x, and you can go ahead and use that same changing from the logarithmic to the exponential formula as we did it for question number 1. So I've gone ahead and repeated it down here. I'm going to go ahead and grab my blue color, and I'm going to go ahead and mark this one up in the same colors as this, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change it to this form. What I'm hoping that by doing this is that I can simply just go ahead and put this in the calculator. That's my goal. Okay, so now I'm ready to change it, and it's going to be the blue raised to the purple power equals the orange number. I keep thinking it's yellow, but it should be orange. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's doing exactly what I thought it would do. I can go ahead and put this right into the calculator. So let's grab that Desmos because it should be, no. Mr. P must be using his phone. That's okay. 10 raised to the -1 power. Notice though that Alex wants you to give the answer as a decimal or as a fraction, not a decimal. So you're going to go ahead and click that little circle right there in the corner, and it's going to change into a fraction for you. All right. So my answer, how did I know that, guys? Right there. That's how I knew that they wanted me to give the answer as a fraction and not as a decimal. But there's my answer. Awesome. Okay, let's take a look at question number 5. Question number 5 is going to ask you to solve for x in the equation below. It is going to ask you to round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Remember, 100 is like this. So my decimal is here. I'm going to count 1, 2, and the third number is going to be the one that follows the rounding rules from the last page. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change this to blue because those are the colors I used in the lesson. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the power rule. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the log of both sides. Oh no, hold on. I did it in blue. That's why I changed to blue. There we go. And you can also do this with the natural log, should you choose. But there we go. And I think I used the orange. I want to get the x by itself. So what the power rule says is once you have the log of both sides, and remember I can do this because logs and exponentials are inverses of each other. So when I take something like 12 to the x plus 3 power and put a log in front of it, these two undo each other, and they leave me with where I can do this and I can get rid of it. Okay, they undo each other. So I can take the power rule and I can bring that x plus 3 in front of my log of 12. Okay, and there is multiplication in there, of course. There we go. I want to get the x by itself. Make sure that there's only one x. So go ahead and look at your equal sign and make sure that there's only one x. This is why I really, really, really love to use color, because I can very quickly see that there's only the one x and it's already alone. So the next thing I need to do is divide both sides by log 12. Now, Alex does tell you right here, do not round any intermediate steps. That's because it doesn't want you to grab this and go over to the calculator. It's not time yet. You're going to have to wait because you got to get rid of that 3 that's hanging out with your x. So you want to think of this log 7 over log 12 as being this funky fraction. You've got to get rid of the 3 next. So you're going to subtract it because by subtracting it, it would move to the other side. And now I'm ready to go to my calculator and I'm going to put log 7 over log 12. And then I'm going to subtract 3 from that. And I'm going to go ahead and round. I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to try one more time. I did it. Yay. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, guys, I'm going to take this right here and I'm going to put it in my calculator. So I like to make the fraction. And then I'm just going to type it in. Now remember, it doesn't really matter if you close the parentheses or not, but I like to think of them as like somebody opened a door, so it's nice for me to go ahead and close it for them. All right, so I got negative 2.2169, and for hundredths, that should be enough numbers. Here is my decimal. Hundredths means I'm going to count 1, 2, and the third one's going to tell me I didn't need the 9. The number under the arrow is 5 or more, so I'm going to add 1 more to my underlined number, 2.22, negative 2.22. That's a lot of 2's. Okay, all right. Let's clear that, and let's take a look at question number 6. Question number 6 is going to ask you to translate a graph of a logarithm. Your first gut reaction is going to be to go to Desmos, go to the graphing Desmos calculator and put this in. I don't advocate for that because if you're going to do that, you're going to have to put this one and this one. You have to put them both in, okay? And you really have to pay attention to where this point went, and it gets a little tricky, I think. So what I really think you guys should do is focus on this formula right here. And this is probably the easiest one. H is going to be this number right here inside the parentheses. So look at your equation right here where it's asking you to translate. This number inside the parentheses is your H. So let me go ahead and write down my H equals. Now remember, read the little thing. H is tricky. It is a faker. So when it looks like it's negative 3, it's really positive 3. And take a look at mine. Mine looks like it's positive 3, but guess what? It's really negative 3. Because we're moving in the X direction and my H is negative, I'm going to move 3 to the left. I'm going to move 3 to the left. So I'm going to take this point, 1, 2, 3. But I'm not quite done because I have to do K. K is always going to be this number that is outside. Read what K says. K says it moves my graph in the Y direction, which is up or down. And K says he is the real deal. So when K looks like positive 2, K is positive 2, and my graph is going to move up. If your K looks like minus 2, then your K is negative 2, and your graph is going to move 2 down. But mine is going to move 2 up, and so here is going to be my new point. And my graph, I'll just move the point, and my graph will move along with it. Desmos will move my graph along with it. Okay, question number 11. I know we're skipping a lot, but there's some graphing in there, guys. So I really didn't think I needed to go over that in the review. But question number 11 is the one where we have to solve the logs. This is from the last lesson. Remember, we're going to use this to help us solve the log for the log. But the first thing I need to do is make sure that the log is alone. That means this plus 6 that's hanging out in front, it needs to get moved to the other side. So before I start, I'm going to go ahead and minus 6 to both sides, which gives me log base 3 of negative 4x equals 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. So there we go, right? And then I would have this as well. Okay, I think, well, it doesn't matter. All right, I've got to solve for x, but what I need to do is I need to raise it to the base, right? I need to raise the base, and these bases need to match. So here's my base. Let me grab my blue. Here's my base. So I'm going to raise both sides to the third power. What this is going to do is it's going to allow everything inside that parentheses. Oop, nope, there we go. Almost grabbed the wrong color. There we go. Notice that my two bases on the log sides, they match each other. That means they're going to cancel each other out, leaving me with this is equal to that number. So I get negative 4x is equal to 3 to the third power, which is 27. 3 times 3 times 3. All I have to do is get rid of that negative 4. Remember, it is a negative 4. It is not a subtraction of 4, so I can't just add 4 to the other side. There's nothing hanging out in front of that 4, so I have to get rid of the multiplication, and I'm going to do that by dividing by negative 4. When I put this in the calculator, it's going to give me a decimal, but notice that Alex does not want a decimal. Alex wants a fraction, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Oop, I don't know where that negative came from. Oh, no, yeah, negative 27 over 4 because the negative on the bottom would come out to the front. There we go. All right, I am going to show you the last question on today's test. That's because it is like this last one. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but before we do, we have to make sure that this part right here is completely alone. That means the 3's got to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the multiplication by dividing by 3 on both sides. This leaves me with log 2 of x plus 18 equals 4. I'm going to focus on my base, and I'm going to raise both sides to that power. So the log becomes my power. There we go. And I'm going to go 2 to the 4th power. Remember, you're solving for x. You're solving for x. These two are going to undo each other because the bases are the same. Okay, so I end up with x plus 18 is equal to 2 to the 4th power. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 4 times, is 16. And all I have to do to finish solving this problem is subtract 18. 16 minus 18 is negative 2, but that's okay. My answer can be negative. All right, good luck, you guys. You got this.